Good morning. How are you today? I have the water in the background because I'm Aquarius, and water is the power of life. Nothing exists without water, man. It is powerful, boys. It's powerful. And I just realized that there's a whole world above the water, and there's a whole world under the water. They say they have waterfalls on top of waterfalls down in the ocean, and everything survives from like a little coral reef to the small fish, the bigger one to the bigger ones. And if you ruin or spoil those, destroy the corals, you're destroying nature. You're destroying all the life in the ocean. You're destroying yourself. Be careful what you throw in the water, in the water, because like a fish doesn't know the difference between a jellyfish and a plastic bag, and the plastic bags will get inside his throat and kill him, choke him. So just be very careful and be very respectful. Never mind that the water is so much water. I mean, the earth is made up of water. And it's just a few spots where they have land, and that comes from the volcano. The volcano land is in the bottom of the ocean. And the volcanoes bring it up in the form of lava. And then when it dries, it cools down, it's earth. And I've seen this in Hawaii. They constantly have these lava flowing out of crust, and it's still going on. They can't seem to stop it because that's just the way nature wants it to be. When it wants back to land, it'll send a tsunami or something, or an earthquake or something, just take it right back. You have no control. It's there in control. And then when they want to make new lands, we can start all over again. Something you'd have a lava eruption, and it goes like I think it was last year they had all this volcano eruption in Hawaii, and boy, you just had to get out of its way if you could, because lava is, it just destroys everything. It's so hot and everything. But I have seen the results of it. People take it when it dries. They take and put make fertilizer out of it because it's so fertile. And if you just leave it alone, it'll start growing trees and start growing anything. It's very, very fertile and it's ready for life. But I want to say, like, there's so many people in the world. There's so many kinds of people. And if you lived in a closed box, like in a small community, and you don't venture out, you don't know, you don't read, got to find out about that. They're there, and they're living their life, they're living their culture, just like animals, all the animals. If you just see them in a zoo, you don't really realize how smart these animals are. But each one of them have their own lifestyle. They're born, and their parents love them, give them birth, and they love them, and they teach them all they need to know to survive. And then they say, now you got to go on your own because there's only so much that somebody can teach you, and then you have to just learn the rest by yourself by trial and error. And you do enough errors, you get to know what the right thing is to do, and then you that's how life is. And then you get to be like when you get old, like I am, you've been through a lot, a lot of trials and errors. So I know I've learned a lot. But if you have somebody taking care of you all the time, like you stay with your parents, they take all the blunt. You don't feel it because you're not living it. It has no effect on you. But when you're out there by yourself, you got to pay your own rent. You got to, work. You got to pay your own bills. You got to take your own. So you mature into a person, a different kind of person, more independent. So that's just something to think about. So many people like refuse to grow up, but gotta go. Suppose you're depending on your mother, your father all these years, and refuse to get a job, refuse to go to school, refuse to do anything, just hang around, do nothing, just hang out, get high, whatever, with your friends, partying like this. Pretty soon you're old, maybe your parents died, and what you gonna do? Oh, I gotta pay the rent. What? There's no food in the refrigerator. Well, who's gonna take care of me? Life is forced on you like that. You have something to do or get on welfare or just hang around feeling sorry for yourself. But as a kid, I be living in a little small community in the South. Um, I didn't know there was no cultures. These people were straight up from slavery and generation after generation after generation. And it was a small community called Maysville. It was the outskirts of Mobile, Alabama. And it was just all black people, and their ancestors were from slavery. And it was just black, plain black. There was no West Indians, no Africans, no Middle East, no Chinese, no Spanish, no where's Jews, no, I don't know what else is out there. But all different, but it was just us, black people that knew each other. And we lived on one side of the track, and the white people, the Europeans lived on the other side of the track. Now, I didn't know they had different kinds of white people. I just thought that they were white and we were black, and that was it for me. We never mixed. We never had nothing to do with each other except the black people across the track sometimes do some work for the white people, like babysitting or whatever work they had to do, labor, like maybe fixing something in the house or something like that. They didn't come to our neighborhood. We went to that neighborhood looking for work, a little piece of change, washing their clothes, washing. We had those big old black cast iron pots in the yard where you had to wash these clothes when you boiled them and cook and hang them up, and then you had to iron them nice with those. You had the two irons with the argo starch with the starch, and you had to. And then you took them back to them, already nice and clean and everything, just like that. And then it goes on like that, like that. But anyway, when I was a child, I didn't know about all these people. I just never thought about it. Okay, the Middle East is a place I've often wondered about since I got grown, a teenager. But when I was a little girl, I went to the movies one time to see Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. I knew the people looked different from me. I said, why don't the men's face is so smooth? They don't seem to want to. They look like girls, and they didn't seem like they need to shave or anything like that. And I know they weren't white, they weren't black. I just thought, well, they were just, are they real? Are they made up to be actors or actresses? I I saw the people look different from me, and that culture was foreign, but I never realized they were real. Oh, my dumb self. Coming from a neighborhood in the outskirts of Mobile, I only knew the blacks that were up from slavery, and I never met the whites who were up from slavery and in slavery, and the whites who lived across the track. The two of us never met. We never mixed with any kind of way. We didn't go to the we just if you went to the stores to shop, they were behind the counter, and if you had some money, you were shopping, but they had the jobs behind the counter. You couldn't go to the same bathroom, you couldn't go to the same movies, you couldn't go to the same parks, you couldn't go to the same school, you could so we were just isolated, in a way like that. Oh, manually. I never knew that the whites came from different cultures. I never knew anyone from the Caribbean. A man from Trinidad told a Black American woman that he was a West Indian. And she said to him, what kind of Indian is that, boy? I know a lot of Indians, but I never heard no West Indian. He thought that was funny today, but she meant that. We didn't know no West Indian. We didn't know no West Indian. I never met a Jewish and Latin, African, Asian, nobody. I was just ignorant of anybody outside of my neighborhood. I never saw them, didn't think about them, didn't concern myself about them. When we moved to Detroit, Michigan, which was a big city at 11 years old, it was similar to Mobile because the same people that were there in Mobile, they just moved to Detroit, Michigan. It's just another neighborhood. It was all black and similar in nature. We was just still all black. We didn't mix again. We just stayed there. But people came from the south of Detroit looking for work in the plants. They had the music, Barry Gordy, and all the records, and they had all the plot, the Fords and Chevrolet, Cadillac. So we hopefully to come and find a job. But when we moved from Mobile to Detroit, I think the people were worse off. Well, first of all, in Mobile and Alabama, people knew everybody knew everybody. It was like one big, huge family, and there was more trust there because you knew everybody. But when we moved from Mobile to Detroit, I learned about welfare. The people didn't have jobs, so they had to get on the welfare some kind of way. But doing Diane Carroll, I don't know if anybody saw Diane Carroll movie. The man could not allow to be in the house. If he was in the house with the woman that had children, they needed welfare. The man had to go. He couldn't stay there. That was the breaking up of the family. The social workers would come to the house with their flashlights shining all around, see if they saw a man or they saw any kind of luxury in the house, like any kind of a TV. We didn't have the TV because back then we just didn't have no TV. If we did, we started out with the one like the black and white, and Amos and Ann and all that sort of thing. But we didn't have much. You're looking for any kind of thing of luxury. the social worker. Eventually, nowadays, people on welfare, they get away with murder because the man is there and they keep having babies every day. But anyway, when we was I learned about welfare, drug addicts, prostitution, pimps. Oh my God, pimps, fathers being chased out of the house because they couldn't find a job, and the welfare would not help you if the father was present. The beginning of breaking up the family. At 19, I moved to New York City with $10 in my pocket. I told my mother, I'm going to seek my fortune. She said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to New York or California. I don't know, whichever one that's suited for me. That's, say, well, if that's what you want to do, Betty, if that's what you want to do, you figure you can't make it here and if you could find work there, what could I say? So she gave me $10. That's all she had. And she said, now take this $10, tie it in your handkerchief, a big man's handkerchief, tied tight and pin it to your inside of your bra because we're going to the big city now, New York. And those people out here that they steal, So you want to protect your $10. That's all she had. Oh boy. Okay. When I first came here by myself, I was going to a sleep-in job because at least I know if I start out there, I would be with a family, that would sort of like watch over me, so to speak. I have a place to stay and I would have a place to sleep and eat and everything. And if I saved enough money, I could venture out and go on my own. But at least I started with that. I was in the street and I didn't know anybody, you know. So I made up 3 rules to myself to live by, which I still live by that today. One is do not become a drug addict because a drug addict will destroy your brains. You're not able to think. You're thinking like what the drug addict wants you to think. You become the drug addict. Whatever the drug addict wants, you're going to do that so you can get more drugs. I got hold of you now. I'm not going to let you go. I want you to do this and do that, and you get the money, get some more drugs. Well, I can live. Don't become a drug addict, please. Just like Nancy Reagan said, a lot of drugs problem could be solved very simply if we just said no. Remember the drug addict is on the street and he's selling the drugs or wherever he is, selling the drugs. He's not coming knocking on your door. You're going to wherever he is and you're buying the drugs from him and then you're coming home and you're putting it in your body some way or another, with the needle or the smoking or the pills, whatever. So just keep that in mind. If everybody said no, the drug dealers would go out of business because there's a thing called supply and demand. I know I was looking at a story one day on TV and it had these people bringing drugs from Mexico. And they say, big, take it to the neighborhoods and where the people got money can afford to buy them. Don't take them to the poor neighborhood. Take them to them rich neighborhood where them kids are, they all drug addicts. So, that's what they were doing. But you could put a stop to that. If somebody brought drugs in here to me, and put it from the ground to the sky. The best kind of drug you would rap about is the best in the world. I wouldn't touch it. And it would just sit there and rot or decay or whatever, and you would go out of business. And I think anybody could do that if they were strong enough to do that. The power of drugs have ruined so many people's lives, giving them false hope and confidence that they could do this, they can do that. When those drugs are around, you're just a pitiful waste. But the first rule was don't become a drug addict. The second was don't become a prostitute. A lot of people feel that they can't get a job, so they're gonna go out and sell their body, or maybe date somebody who got a lot of money who's gonna pay their bills and stuff like that. But they don't really want that person, but they want the money that the person's gonna give them to help pay their bills. So they think they're getting over now, they're living good, but you're not. If you're with somebody that you don't really like, that takes a toll on you too, on your mind. So don't become a prostitute. And some people get in there, they get a pimp, They get a pimp, they say, oh, that's what you want to do. Hey, let me make some money off of this. They put you years ago, I don't know if they still do it today, they would put you in a house, and they would have the pimps come up and you would go with them all day long, tire yourself out. You gotta take more drugs, tire yourself out. Wear your body out and wear your body out. And you might wind up getting some disease or something that nobody even heard of. You know what I mean? Your poor little body is ruined. Now, when your body is ruined and you can't work with them no more, they will discard you and put somebody else to take your place. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. And you out there looking, you love home. You thought your mother and father was so mean. When you left home, you had your hair done, you had your makeup on, you had your cute little outfit on, you walk around thinking you fly, you know. But your mother and father are so mean to you, they won't let you do this, they won't let you do that. I don't want nobody to talk to me. I'm grown. I'm grown to do what I want to do. The parents are telling you things because they love you and they want you to have a good life. They're trying to keep you on the right track, but you don't want to hear what they got to say. They just mean. They just mean. God forbid it, they whip you or they punish you or something like that. Oh, you're the meanest person in the world. But you don't know what mean is until you get hold of one of them pimps out there. They want you to work yourself to death for them. They're going to show you what mean is. And I wonder sometimes if people ever think about maybe their mother and father weren't so mean, if they have abuse and abuse. When you get out there with them, next time you see the person that misses some teeth, they got sores all on them. The hair haven't been done in I don't know how long. God knows what they're wearing, or do they care what they're wearing, or do they wear anything at all? With all the tricks they have to turn them out, not wear anything at all. Who knows? But it's just a far cry for your poor body. Your body's in shock of where you're treating it. You got to love your body. You got to take care of your body. And the people that want to prostitute, let them prostitute. Don't prostitute you. It's not hurting them. They're getting rich off of you. So keep that in mind. Don't sell, don't use drugs. Don't prostitute yourself. It destroys your body. Drugs destroys your mind. And the other third rule that I live by today is don't become a kept woman. If you become a kept woman, the man might be ever so nice to you. But if he really, really cared about you and wants to see you fly, he wants to see you do good, he wants to see you empower yourself, he would take you and he would send you to school to teach you a trade and help you get a job, not just you staying home and being at his beck and call. And you do whatever he says and he give you money, he takes you out when he gets ready, and then you stay home and he goes out by himself or whatever. But then maybe he dies, or maybe you break up or something. Then what have you got? You got nothing. Where are your dreams? Maybe you've gotten old. Maybe you've gotten just old enough to be discouraged. Just try to do something for yourself. Like I always say, keep one hand on it. If you have a child, don't have no more than one child and sit with the relationship that's not going too well. One hand for your suitcase, one hand for your child. If you don't have no child, just have that one hand for that suitcase and have money in your pocket to go wherever you want to go and start over again. Even if you're crying all the way, because sometimes you just have to have a heartbreak, to get over certain things, and then things will get better as you go along. No, I don't know. Okay, don't become. Okay. I will stifle your power. You let the people take care of you. Don't do that. Okay. Okay. What else I was gonna say? If someone takes care of you, you just sit back and let them. Then he leaves and you have nothing. If you work or educate yourself when the dream bursts, you can move on financially anyway. In New York, I began to notice all sorts of people I never knew exist. Some had names that no one could pronounce. So they shortened them so that they could blend in. White people did that, like Czechoslovakia and all those people. I don't know the Middle East name of those people. The people names so long, who could spell those names? But people shortened them. The white people shortened those names so that they could blend in with the white people here. Well, they could do that because they were white. The white people were white. If you don't know the difference, if you're Spanish or whatever, so you could change your accent and try to learn how to blend in with the American white people here, so you could blend in and become one of them. And it would help your chance of getting ahead. But black people couldn't change their color. They were black in Africa, and they got black wherever they go. They couldn't erase that black. So a lot of people have names. So a lot of people have last names today that's not really their last name because the parents or grandparents, they shorten their names. Okay, I've been to Egypt. Europe, Caribbean islands, Canada, Central and South America, Mexico, Bermuda, and all along the coast of the United States. But I've never been to the Middle East. Every time I even talk about it, I think of terrorists, because that's what I was told. Terrorists, they blowing up everything, killing everybody and things. And they tell you have to get 40 birds. If you do that, the rich Middle East people, I was told, allegedly, that they're rich and they have all the life that they want, all the women that they want, to do everything that they want to. Nothing is at the back and call it. The poor people, they tell the poor people, if you put bombs and stuff on yourself and you go blow up this and blow up that, the people that the rich people feel that is their enemy, then they tell the poor person, well, you're gonna have what we have. When you die from doing a deed like that, well, we want you to do, you're gonna come back and you're gonna have your 40 virgins, you know, you know, and reward for the sacrifice you made. I believe the rich or powerful have this life and they make you feel the only way you can achieve it is to make this sacrifice. Some of the places I cannot even pronounce. I don't speak the language, don't understand the culture, and so I fear the unknown. Boy, I'm, God, I fear the unknown. So many men are Muslims, wear beards, and talk about having 4 wives or sister wives. Some talk about arranged marriages, and some have the caste system where you have to live and die several times before you can be equal to them. The powerful people are taking advantage of the less powerful, then justifying it all over the world. I am getting more confused by the day. The rules for my existence are getting weaker and weaker. I wonder, are we going back to the age before civilization or trying to build the Tower of Babel where there was such confusion? Then again, we have so many cultures that it is hard to understand and respect each other if we don't know each other. Help! All right, people, like, it's just so many things that we just don't understand. We hear about it, we don't know how much of it is true, but we hear people whispering and talking about bits and parts of it. So we just wonder. But I would like to know. I would like to know. Every culture has something to offer and to give, but everybody like keeps it like in a private kind of thing, like in a closet. You don't know what's going on with them, but I would like to know about them because they are surviving and they've been here for years and years and years, and it's important to them. And if we all knew each other, it would be important to us too. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. So thank you for listening to me. And then I hope we can find out about each other on a more equal basis.